गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हृदाकाशे सदा भान्तं शान्तमानन्दरूपिणं ज्ञानभानुमहं वन्दे सद्गुरुं सत्यसायिनम्। ओम श्री गुरवे श्री सत्यसाईनाथ श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ओम श्री परमगुरवे शिरडी साईनाथ श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ओम परमेष्टि श्री दत्तात्रेय स्वामी श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि नमः। ओम नमश्चंडिकायै मातर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषप्राणापहारोद्यमे हेला निर्मित धूम्रलोचन वधे हे चंडमुंडार्दिनी निःशेषीकृत रक्त बीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुंभापहे शुंभध्वंसिनी नाशयाशु दुरितं दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके। हरिः ओम। गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड आफ्टरनून, good evening, Hari Om, Shalom, Sai Ram, Namaste. We are studying the 9th chapter of Devi Mahatmyam, Nishumbhavada, and yesterday there were a couple of questions that were posted and we just got into that. And gentleman by name Hari, are you on the call, sir? Hari? Yes. Yes, sir. Can you?
Namaste.
Namaste. Can you explain your question? Yesterday you were asking why is Durga invoked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You missed all the explanation with the preamble. So when you are looking at Durga, when you are looking at Chanda, when you are looking at Kali, when you are looking at Sivaduti, what are you identifying, sir?
I'm identifying mother.
Are you identifying mother or the different identities of the mother?
Yes, different identities of the mother.
Are they different from each other, sir?
No, don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay. Is the question answered?
Yes, yes.
So,
I was surprised that the name came up all of a sudden. But now it makes sense that they are all one and the same. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. So that is what is called Maya, sir. Mahamaya is exactly that. When you look at something and when you identify its specialization, know that your mind is working very well because that's what it is supposed to do. But know that you are operating with your mind because that's what is identifying the difference.
Thank you, Shekharji.
When you don't identify the difference, no, this is the beauty. I really hope you are all looking at this with me, not intellectually trying to understand the concept. Intellectual understanding of something, like yesterday somebody was asking, yeah, Cecilia was asking, understanding something and being aware of something. There's a huge gap between the two. Understanding something, yeah, conceptually, there are so many metaphors that describe, look at the wave, don't look at the wave, look at the ocean, look at the gold, not the ornament, look at only what is common, etc., etc. We all understand those things conceptually, but when it comes to practice, immediately you identify the difference. Immediately, because that's what is apparent to the senses and to the mind. And so your self is not operating in awareness. And then what happens is you say, oh, why is Durga brought up suddenly here? Why is Chandi brought up suddenly here? Why is Kali brought up suddenly here? But the whole thing starts off saying that she is the same Shakti that is present in all gods and came out in these different forms. And why does that happen? That is the beauty of Devi Mahatyam. So we are going to go to the next shlokam. One second, I have to open the file. And Bala, you had a question. What was your question?
See, my question was, where from you are getting this knowledge?
Oh, who?
You.
Who is the me?
You got a vast knowledge.
No. Who is the me?
I'm surprised. Really, I'm amazed.
No, Sairam, this speaker or this body is nothing to do with what you are. Again, this is the power of this satsang. This is the power of our collective presence that invokes such beautiful presence. And in that presence of all this 120 people, and there will be 15 that will join in their own span of time. The collective presence of this 120 people is what drives this connecting together. That is why it is called Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Saha. And I am a broken record. Yesterday also during Ekadash Rudram, I was saying, please don't take collective prayers easily. It is the power of that collective prayers that will heal the world. It is the power of our collective presence where our intellects get illumined. It's our collective presence that brings out this love and this everything. So you are contributing to this knowledge. Everyone in their identity are collectively contributing this. This doesn't belong to this body or the mind, and hence it doesn't write any books, it doesn't publish any CDs, it doesn't do anything really, because it's not related to the identity of this body. It belongs to some supreme intelligence and collective presence. And therefore, when we are present to here, and this mother's presence is so powerful, and we are in Navamodhyaya, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Shloka 31, brother.
Shloka 31. I have to be present now. So this Navamodhyaya, the 9th one, is where we paused at mother's presence as the Artinashini, the one that removes all obstacles and everything that interferes with that presence. And and we will start with that. Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharais Sayakanscha Tan. Go ahead, Ma.
Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini.
Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini. Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini.
Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan.
Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan. Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan.
Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini. Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan.
Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini. Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan. Tato Bhagavati Kruddha Durga Durgartinashini. Chicheda Devi Chakrani Swasharai Sayakamschatan.
So I thought this Nishumbha guy was done long time ago. And yesterday when I was looking at this slokam, then it reminded me, oh, he only fell on the ground. So she just hit him, he fell on the ground. I thought he fell on the ground and he was gone. And Shumbha got angry thinking that his brother was killed. But actually, he got up now. You see how difficult to believe that you cannot kill the identity so quickly? No? It only fell down. So that same thing happens to us. Some incident happens in our lives that humbles us and make us think how insignificant the I and the mine are. But when time passes, this guy gets up again. And then he will take his instruments and he is ready to fight against awareness again and again and again. Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam Abhyadhavata Vaihantum Daitya Sena Samavritaha. Then Nishumbha got up, took his mace, and then went to kill Mother Chandika, surrounded by the army of the Daityas. Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam Abhyadhavata Vaihantum Daitya Sena Samavritaha.
Sandhya, you have to unmute. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam
Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam. Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam.
Abhyadavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha
Abhyadhavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha. Abhyadhavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha.
Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam Abhyadhavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha
Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam Abhyadhavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha. Tato Nishumbho Vegena Gadamadaya Chandikam Abhyadhavat Vaihantum Daityasena Samavritaha.
Tasya patata evashu gadan chicheda Chandika. Then Chandika with her trident pierced to the heart of Nishumbha. Khadgena sitadharena sacha shulam samavade. Then the Nishumbha was advancing towards her, and when he was advancing towards her with the trident in hand, then she used the trident to pierce him. Tasya patata evashu gadanchi cheda Chandika. She then split the mace. Khadgena sitadharena sachashulam samadade.
Tasya patata evashu gadan chicheda Chandika
Tasya patata evashu gadan chicheda Chandika. Tasya patata evashu gadan chicheda Chandika.
Khadgena shitadharena sacha shulam samadade.
खड्गेन शितधारेण स च शूलं समाददे खड्गेन शितधारेण स च शूलं समाददे
तस्यापतत एवाशु गदां चिच्छेद चण्डिका खड्गेन शितधारेण स च शूलं समाददे
तस्यापतत एवाशु गदाञ्चिच्छेद चण्डिका खड्गेन शितधारेण स च शूलं समाददे तस्यापतत एवाशु गदाञ्चिच्छेद चण्डिका खड्गेन शितधारेण स च शूलं समाददे
शूलहस्तं समायन्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनं हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका. When he was pierced in his heart by the trident, then came out another person strong, and he said, stop. That the next one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, this is the next one. So Shulahastam Samayantam, Nishumbha was advancing with the dart. I think I explained both in the previous one. As the Nishumbha was approaching with the dart in his hand, mother pierced him in the heart with a swiftly hurled dart, another Trishula. Shulahastam Samayantam, Nishumbha Amarardanam, Hridi Vivyadha Shulena, Vega Vidhena Chandika. Let us then what happens next. Bhinnasya tasya shulena hridayan nisruto paraha mahabalo mahaviryastishteti purusho vadan. And when she pierced him with the shulam, from his heart came out another Mahabala, another great warrior, and a Mahavira, another great courageous, great strength and valor. And he said, Tishtha means Tishteti Purusho Vadan. And that person told mother, stop to Devi. So let's do both the shlokas together.
शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम्
शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम् शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम्
हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका
हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका
शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम् हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका
शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम् हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका शूलहस्तं समायान्तं निशुम्भममरार्दनम् हृदि विव्याधशूलेन वेगाविद्धेन चण्डिका
भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः
भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः
महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन्
महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन् महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन्
भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन्
भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन् भिन्नस्य तस्य शूलेन हृदयान्निःसृतोपरः महाबलो महावीर्यस्तिष्ठेति पुरुषो वदन्
See, beautiful. Every Sandhya and Jayasri are doing such a great job. You are, I hope you are paying attention to now in Telugu also and in Devanagari and in English. There are now different ways of showing how the holding occurs. In English, the lighter holdings are lighter triangles. The darker rectangles, sorry, the darker rectangles are longer holdings. In Devanagari, you say one squiggle means lighter holding and two squiggles means longer holding. Now Davor has done an amazing job and he put all of that on Telugu and also in the swaras. So we have phonetics, we have swara, we have holding, and we have the rules of the visargas and the anuswaras and the matras, everything perfectly in place. There is no excuse why we can't chant as perfect as Sandhya and Jayashree. So, okay, so bhinnasya, when you are looking at those bhinnasya tasya shulena, then this great man came out. Tasya nishkramato devi prahasya svanavattataha siraschicheda kadgena tato sava patadbhuvi. Then Devi, she prahasya svanavattataha, she laughed loudly and then she hit him with her sword and then siraschicheda, she severed his head with her sword and it fell on the ground. Tato nishkramato devi prahasya svanavattataha siraschicheda khadgena tato sava patadbhuvi.
तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः
तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः
शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि
शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि
तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि
तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि तस्य निष्क्रामतो देवी प्रहस्य स्वनवत्ततः शिरश्चिच्छेद खड्गेन ततो सावपतद्भुवि
Tata simha chakadogra damstra kshunna sirodharan asuram stams tatha kali sivaduti tatha paran. Then the lion came into action, and the lion tear apart with its sharp teeth the necks of those asuras and swallowed. So also Kali and Sivaduti swallowed the others. Tatas simha chakadogram damshtra kshunna sirodharan asuram stams tatha Kali Sivaduti tatha paran.
ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान्
ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान् ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान्
असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूते तथा परान्
असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूती तथा परान् असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूती तथा परान्
ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान् असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूते तथा परान्
ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान् असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूती तथा परान् ततः सिंहश्च खादोग्रं दंष्ट्राक्षुण्णशिरोधरान् असुरांस्तांस्तथा काली शिवदूती तथा परान्
But yeah, the ma disappeared from there. Tata simhaschakadogram.
You're on mute, uncle.
You are noted, you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry. That in that particular slokam, it should be chakadogra, not chakadogram. So made a correction in all the three languages.
Okay.
So make a note of that. And okay, the dogram will give an extra matra. It should be dogra. Tatasimhaschakadogra damshtra kshunna sirodharan asuram stams tatha kali sivaduti tatha paran kaumari shakti nirbhinna kechinneshur mahasuraha brahmani mantra putena toye nanye nirakritaah. Then the other mothers got into action. Kaumari Shakti Nirbhinna. Kaumari used her Shakti. Kechinneshur Mahasura pierced through the spear, through the veil of hers. Kaumari pierced the Mahasuras. Others were then repelled by the mantra jala of Brahmani. Mantra putena toyena. Mantra putena toyena. Toya means water. The water that is filled with mantras. Nirakrita, she just repelled them using the mantra jala. Kaumari Shakti Nirbhinna Kechinneshur Mahasurah Brahmani Mantra Putena Toyenanye Nirakrita. Now all the other mothers are getting into action. We'll do these two shlokas together. Maheshwari Trishulena Bhinna Petustatha Pare Varahi Tundaghatena Kechichurni Krita Bhuvi. Maheshwari used her Trishula, and then she split apart with her Trishula all these asuras and their bodies, and then Varahi used her Tunda, the snout. She used her snout or muzzle or whatever they call it, and then in English, and then she powdered them onto the earth using her smote, or what do we call that? Smote? No, snout. Snout is the I don't know. English is funny language. Okay, let's go, ma. Kaumari Shakti Nirbhinna.
कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः
कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः
ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः
ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः
कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः
कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः कौमारी शक्ति निर्भिन्नाः केचिन्नेषुर्महासुराः ब्रह्माणि मन्त्रपूतेन तोयेनान्ये निराकृताः
माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे
माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे
वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि
वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि
माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि
माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि माहेश्वरी त्रिशूलेन भिन्नाः पेतुस्तथा परे वाराही तुण्डघातेन केचिच्चूर्णीकृता भुवि
खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्या दानवाः कृताः वज्रेण चैन्द्री हस्ताग्र विमुक्तेन तथा परे. By Vaishnavi, the asuras were cut into pieces by her discus, khandam khandam, pieces and pieces, using her discus. Vaishnavi cut through these danavas, and in the same way the others were killed by the vajra, the vajrayudha, vajrena cha indri, vajrena cha aindri, using her thunderbolt. The mother Aindri, released from the hands of Aindri, the thunderbolt, were killed. Several others. Khandang cha chakrena Vaishnavya danavah kritaah Vajrena chaindri hastagra vimuktena tatha pare.
Khandang khandang cha chakrena vaishnavyadanavah krita.
खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्यादानवाः कृताः खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्यादानवाः कृताः
वज्रेण चाइन्द्री हस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे
वज्रेण चैन्द्रीहस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे वज्रेण चैन्द्रीहस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे
खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्यादानवाः कृताः वज्रेण चाइन्द्री हस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे
खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्यादानवाः कृताः वज्रेण चैन्द्रीहस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे खण्डं खण्डं च चक्रेण वैष्णव्यादानवाः कृताः वज्रेण चैन्द्रीहस्ताग्रविमुक्तेन तथा परे
केचिद्विनेशुरा सुराः असुराः केचिद्विनेशुरासुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात् भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः. Some asuras perished in the battle, some others fled they fled from the battle. Kechidvineshura asuraha Kechidvineshurasuraha, Kechinnashta Mahahavat, and some were eaten up by Mother Kali, Sivaduti, and the lion. And with that concludes the Nishumbha Vadha and how all the other mothers got into action in the battlefield. Swasti Sri Markandeya Purane Savarnike Manvantare Devi Mahatmye Nishumbha Vadho Nama Navamodhyayaha Sri Jagadambarpanamastu. So let's finish up and then we'll start the Dhyana Shlokam and get right away, not just about the mind, but about the eye. The Nishumbha is the mind and the Shumbha is the eye. Now we are getting to the core and the reflection has to be eliminated now. Okay, so before you come to the mind and the eye, there were other aspects. There was Dhumra Lochana, there was Rakta Bija. All this is a conglomerate aspect of the ego I, and that's what we are really coming to. The mind has to be eliminated before you get to the I. Yes, and that is what is called vairagya, the detachment from the connectivity to everything that we possess. We are so, and that is Nishumbha. Kechid Vineshura Suraha, Kechinnashta Mahahavat, Bhakshitascha Kali, Sivaduti Mrugadhipai.
केचिन्द्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात्
केचिद्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात् केचिद्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात्
भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः
भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः
केचिद्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात् भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः
केचिद्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात् भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः केचिद्विनेषुरसुराः केचिन्नष्टा महाहवात् भक्षिताश्चापरे काली शिवदूती मृगाधिपैः
स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे
स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे स्वस्ति श्रीमार्कण्डेय पुराणे
सावर्णिके मन्वन्तरे
सावर्णिके मन्वन्तरे
देवी माहात्म्ये निशुम्भवदो नाम नवमोऽध्यायः
निशुम्भवधो नाम नवमोऽध्यायः
ॐ श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु
ॐ श्री जगदम्बार्पणमस्तु
Okay, now we enter into the Dashamodhyaya, very significant one. And here we invoke the mother Kameshwari. I simply cannot get into the depth of why these mothers and these dhyana shlokas are invoked. You all have to also meditate upon these dhyana shlokas, and of course when we do the actual parayana and the homam, the havanam and the parayana, these dhyana shlokas are not chanted. That completes the invocation will go, and every chapter will continue without the dhyana shlokas. But the dhyana shlokas are for contemplation and reflection in the context of why these mothers are invoked. You go back and look at dhyana shloka for every chapter, there is a significance to that. Uttapta hema ruchiram ravichandra vanhinetram dhanushara yutankushapasha shulam, with a radiance that is that of gold, supreme gold. Uttapta hema ruchiram. Ravi Chandra Vanhi. Ravi is the sun, Chandra is the moon, Vanhi is the Agni, the fire, with those three as the netras, the eyes, Dhanuhu, the bow, Shara, the arrows, Yuta, Ankusha, Pasha, Shulam. And what are all the different weapons she's carrying? Ankusha, the gourd, Pasha, the moose, Shulam, the trident. Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadhatim, carrying all these very beautifully in her arms. Shiva Shakti Rupam, she is the Shiva Shakti Swarupa. Kameshwari, oh, Kameshwari. Who is Kameshwari? The Kameshwari, Kama means the divine will, Ishwari means the one from which the divine will is happening. Hridi bhajami dhrita indu lekham. Now I am contemplating on this mother, the beautiful mother in my heart, and this mother, Indu lekham, she has a Indu Lekha means just a a ray or what we call as a hairline presence of the moon on her. Everything is significant. Hairline moon. Hello. And without that hairline moon, nothing will exist. That hairline moon is what is important. And for this Shiva Shakti Swarupam, Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravi Chandra Vanhi Netram Dhanushara Yutankusha Pasha Shulam Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadhatim Shiva Shakti Rupam Kameshwarim Hridi Bhajami Dhrutendu Lekham. Go ahead, ma.
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchira Ravi Chandra Vanhi Netram
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram.
Dhanusha. Sorry.
She's in a rush today. She has to go to hospital maybe very soon. Okay. Go ahead, ma. Sorry to interrupt you.
Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram.
Dhanushara Pashashulam.
Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam. Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam.
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhi Netram Dhanushara Yutankusha Pashashulam.
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam. Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam.
Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadathim Shiva Shakti Rupam.
Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadatim Shiva Shakti Rupam. Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadatim Shiva Shakti Rupam.
Kameshwarim Hrudi Bhajami Dhrutendu Lekham.
Kameshwarim Hridhi Bhajami Dhrutendulekham. Kameshwarim Hridhi Bhajami Dhrutendulekham.
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhi Netram Dhanushara-yutam-kusha Pasha-shulam. Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadathim Shiva Shakti Rupam. Kameshwarim Hridi Bhajami Dhrutendu Lekham.
Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam. Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadhatim Shiva Shakti Rupam. Kameshwarim Hridi Bhajami Dhrutendulekham. Om Uttapta Hema Ruchiram Ravichandra Vanhinetram Dhanushara-yutam-kusha-pasha-shulam. Ramyair Bhujaischa Dadatim Shiva Shakti Rupam. Kameshwarim Hridi Bhajami Dhrutendulekham.
Okay, this particular Dhyana Shlokam is in Vasanta Tilakam Chandas with 56 syllables. As I was mentioning yesterday, there are actually no swaras particularly allocated for chanting these shlokas. These are very simply shlokas They're not Veda mantras. The entire Devi Mahatyam is not Veda mantras. So it is not associated with any swaras. The reason why we use certain swara pattern is so that there is uniformity of chanting and there is some concordance in chanting. That is the purpose of it. So, but generally speaking, when you have this Vasanta Tilakam Chandas, this is the pattern that is used. And this Netram, see this, it's not Netram, it is Netram. So that's what at least Branimir has come up with this kind of swaras. But be that may, just use the pattern that is described here. Om Namas Chandikaye. We are offering our salutations to the Mother Chandika. And then the Rishi started speaking in Anushtup Chandas. Okay, so this what he's saying, Nishumbham Nihatan Drishtva Bhrataram Pranasammitam Hanyamanam Balanchaiva Shumbha Kruddho Bravidvachaka. Seeing Shumbha, seeing his brother Nishumbha, the dearest to him, Pranasammitam, equivalent to his life. Why it is equivalent to the life? Because the I's life, the ego's life is mine. If you take away all the mine, the I, the ego is lifeless. You understand? The prana sammita means Nishumbha, which is the mine, is the life of the I, the ego, the selfish ego. And if you take out the mine, the I nearly doesn't exist. And Hanyamanam Balanchaiva, Shumbha, they became very angry, also seeing his Hanyamanam Balanchaiva, all his strength in army also perishing because of the mothers. Shumbha then Abravidvachaha, he started speaking full of anger. Kruddho Abravidvachaka. What did he say? Then he said, Balavalepa dushtetvam ma durge garvamavaha anyasam balamasritya yudhyase yati manini. This is the point I was telling in the beginning of the class. If you noticed, this is the point I was making. What is saying? Hey, Durga, garvamavaha. You are so full of arrogance and pride. Balavalepa dushtetvam. Don't show your pride and your anger to me here. See what kind of words he's using. Pay attention to everything that is being said. It's very significant. Oh Durga, you are bloated with the pride of your strength. Don't be so proud. You are fighting depending upon the strength of others. Anyasam balamasritya. It is not your strength, Durga. It is the strength of other. Because what he's seeing? Hello, what is he seeing? Anybody paid attention to what he's seeing?
He's seeing diversity.
Diversity. He's seeing these others. He doesn't know, this fool, that these others that he's seeing is not different from her. From her only all these others came. She is the presence of the strength in everything. But the ego, I, doesn't recognize that. The ego, I, is always separating. Durga is different from Chandi. Chandi is different from Kali. Kali is different from Shivaduti. Shivaduti is different from Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi. All these, what we're saying. So this is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma. Amazing. We are worshipping so many gods. But in the process of worshipping so many gods, what do we say? My God is greater than your God. I am a Vaishnavite. Only Vishnu has to be worshipped. As foolish as only Jesus has to be worshipped. As foolish as only Allah is God. As foolish as only Shiva is God. As foolish as only Shakti is God. So seeing this difference is the ego. Then you identify yourself with that particular clan, with that particular greed. Only Sai Baba is God. No, Sai Baba is God, but Sai Baba is present as God in everything. Therefore, we don't see the difference of SAI is the same as I. So am I. So hum sas, so hum saha. Balavalepa dushtetvam ma durge garvamavaha. Anyasam balamasritya yudhyase yati manini. Aren't you ashamed of yourself that you are fighting dependent upon the strength of others and still you are so haughty? This is what he said. He got so infuriated when all the mind gets taken away. The ego, I, becomes absolutely so desperate. It has to find an identification with something. If the ego doesn't find identification with something, it simply cannot exist. So take away that identity, then the ego will disappear. Until you take away that identity, the ego will not perish. Where is Cecilia, if she is on the line? Yesterday she was asking, how do I cut these desires, etc. I'm asking, who has to cut the desires? Who has to pay attention to the desire? This is, now we are getting to the core in the Dashamadhyaya about, of course, the fighting between the forces and all of that. Watch the war. Don't get into the war. Bala Valepa, these two slokas, do it together. Nishumbhan nihatan drishtva bhrataram pranasammitam hanyamanam balanchaiva shumbha kruddhod bravidvachaha Bala Valepa dushte tvam ma durge garvamavaka Anyasam balamasritya yudhyase yati manini.
निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम्
निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम् निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम्
हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वजः
हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वचः हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वचः
निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम् हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वचः
निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम् हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वचः निशुम्भन्निहतं दृष्ट्वा भ्रातरं प्राणसम्मितम् हन्यमानं बलं चैव शुम्भः क्रुद्धो ब्रवीद्वचः
बलावलेपादुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमोऽवह
बलावलेपदुष्टे त्वं
बलावलेपादुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह बलावलेपादुष्टे दुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह
अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी
अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी
बलवलेपादुष्टे त्वं मादुर्
Sairamma. I think there is a mistake here in it is not Balavalepa. It should be Balavalepa is Hrasvam, not Dirgham. I am making a correction. It's written incorrectly. Balavalepa Dushtatvam, not Pa. Okay? Sorry.
No problem there. बलवलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह. So we don't have a long holding here because it is
Yes.
this one,
There is no
yeah.
Dirgham there.
No dirgha. So
Yeah,
there is
so
no
it
long
should-
holding here.
There is no long holding there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Second line also.
The second line, Anyasam is okay, but here there is no longer holding on the
Yes.
okay. Balavale, I don't know how to
I will
change.
let me repeat it. बलवलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह.
बलाबलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह बलाबलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह
अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी.
अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी
बलवलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह. अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी.
बलाबलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी बलाबलेपदुष्टे त्वं मा दुर्गे गर्वमावह अन्यासां बलमाश्रित्य युध्यसे याति मानिनी.
Okay, this response from Dev.
Shekhar garu,
Yes.
after the class, I think we may have to spend some time on this I, which is negatively portrayed now, versus the I Ramana Maharshi told.
Yeah. That the different eyes, sir. We'll
Yeah.
come to those eyes in a second. You really need the actual eyes to see the difference between the two eyes.
Yes, sir.
It is not understanding, sir. You have to see the eyes. You have to see with the eyes the different eyes. Okay, you
Yes.
get that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, mother's response here is the most beautiful response. And with that, we will pass today's class. Devi said, Devyuvacha, Ekaivaham Jagatyatra Dvitiya Kamama Para. Arey fool, oh wicked one, Pashyaita Dushta. Arey fool, can't you not see? Now see here. You asked the question, right? Are you seeing properly? Pashyeta Dushta. Re Dushta, Re fool, oh wicked one. In this whole world, Jagatyatra, Ekaivaham, I am the only one. There is no second to me. Dvitiya ka mama para. This is where the entire dualistic religions fell flat on the ground. Now, when you interpret this slokam, you can say, La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. There is no second one other than Allah. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah means Al means Shakti, Aha means the I, Allah means Shiva Shakti in Sanskritam. If you really understand the meaning of Allah in Sanskritam, Allah means Aha, Aha means the power of the I is only one. Ekaivaham jagatyatra dvitiyaka mamapara pasyaita dushtamayeva vishyanto vishantyo madvibhutayaha. All these are my manifestations. Now you see, all of them are going to enter into me. This is the Vishwa Rupam of the mother, done in a different way. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna showed the Vishwa Rupam, Bhagavan Vishnu showed the Vishwa Rupam of everything present in him. Now this is the meaning of the Chandi. Paripurna meaning of Chandi is coming into this beautiful slokam. Mother herself declaring, in this world, it is just me. There is no second. Now see clearly. In that case, Arjuna was the warrior, greatest friend of Krishna. In this case, Shumbha is the wicked one, but she is showing Vishwarupam different way to this Dushta. And he showed Vishwarupam. This is reason the 18 aspects of the chapters related to the 18 hands of the mother, the Vishwarupam. This is the Vishwarupam of the mother. She is showing in Dashamodhyayaka, where she is telling, Array, there is only one that is present. There is no second. And now you see all these different things that you are seeing as different from me are going to come back and merge into me. Ekaivaham jagatyatra dvitiyaka mamapara pashyeta dushta mayeva vishantyo madvibhutayaha. I think we will start with this slokam in the next class, and we'll pause here. It's a very beautiful manifestation, and maybe see his then tatas samastasta devyo brahmani pramukhalayam tasya devyastanau jagmur ekaivasi tadambika. Then all those different mothers, Brahmani and the rest, were absorbed into the body of the Devi. Ambika alone remained. Tatas samastasta devyo brahmani pramukha layam tasya devyastanau jagmur ekaivasi tadambika. This is a beautiful place where we need to now look at whoever asked the question yesterday. And every time I see these postings, now what happened to Kali? Why is she referred to as Chandika? Why is she referred as Chanda? Chamundi, is Chamundi different from Chandika? All these questions that have arisen, she answered with one stroke, because the ego I that is looking at the world as different, it's saying constantly fighting in the world with others, thinking that they're different from themselves. And then what happens? The only one that remains. And this is the beautiful place where we will pause, and then we'll do the Kshama Prarthana. And as brother Harish Suvarna was asking, now you have to see with the proper eyes to see the difference between the eyes. What is that eye? What is this eye? Not the EYE eye, but this is this is the beauty of what is called Druk Drusya Viveka, the ability to understand the seer and the seen. I described all of this during Rudra Jnana Yajnam, and apologies to those who have heard it, but the message constantly is the same. What is seeing is different from what is being seen. Principle number one. What is seeing is one, what are being seen are many. What is seeing is not moving, what are being seen are constantly changing. What is seeing cannot be seen. Hello. Write these down and meditate on these four principles. Druk, Drushya, Viveka. The seer and the seen. Essence of Druk, Drushya, Viveka. Now I'm only relating to with the eyes, but you can build this to different levels, and in Druk, Drushya, Viveka, it is described, this is called Siddhanta Prakaranas, pedagogy of teaching, supreme principles of non-dualism. And you understand these Siddhanta Prakaranas, then you will get close to getting understanding. Not even, you're becoming a little closer. Upanishad, you are coming a little closer. But you are not that yet. Now understand this. What is seeing is one. Just the eyes. One instrument is seeing everything. What is seeing is one. What are being seen are many. What is seeing appears to be different from what are being seen. No. What is seeing is not moving. What are being seen are constantly changing. They are moving. What is seeing cannot be seen. Now, what is seeing? What is seeing is always this instrument. The eyes are showing you diversity all the time. And we'll close with Shama Prarthana, and we'll go to the different eyes for those that really want to see with the eyes. Jai Sai Ram. Yadakshara padabhrashtam matrahinantu yad Yadbhavet tatsarvan kshamyatan deva narayana namostute visarga bindu matrani padapadaksharaणि cha nyunani chatiriktaनि kshamasva saishvara aparadha sahasrani kriyante harnisham maja dasoyamiti mam matva kshamasva saishvara anyatha sharanam naste tvameva sharanam mama तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु। स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषा गो ब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Sairam will have our practice session today at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. West Coast time of the 8th chapter, and we completed till 25 something last time. So we completed till 30 something last time. We'll practice the others today, the 8th chapter. Okay, and now who wants to know about the eye? You can, and want to see with the eyes, can remain. Others can drop off. It's very hard to comprehend what is going on. What is this eye? And it is not, again, this is not a time pass spiritual discussion. It's not intellectual conversation. It is truly the presence to what is happening, and then putting this BA, the Baba, the code word Baba, being aware and being alert. What is this I, the small I, the big I that people are talking about, right? Who is Shumbha in that context? Who is Nishumbha as the mind? The I is the ego I is the movement of the self that happens as Bhagavan Ramana describes very beautifully. What is this aham that we think, the aham that we are referring to here, the aham that is being referred to Shumbha, is the ego identification of the I. Ahamayo, when you look at the Upadesha Saram, in which Bhagavan describes very beautifully all these aspects about different I's and what is the supreme I, what is the mind, what is the body, what is this ego I, what is the identification with the mind, what happens when the mind goes, what happens when the ego dissolves, what actually remains, and how do you actually try to connect to that. All of this is described in the beautiful chapters of Upadesha Saram, the essence of spirituality. If you only in 30 couplets, Bhagavan has described that. And hopefully, with Bhagavan's grace, we will be able to study that one another time as he gives the opportunity. We tried to do that in the Rudra Jnana Yajnam, where we went into the depth of studying each and every aspect of this I in the context of Sri Rudram. Now, what is the Harish? What is your perception of this I?
One second. Yeah. So I think I, when manifested outside, is not good. I, when manifested inside towards inside, that is what we want to do.
No, there is nothing called good and bad. Okay, first of all, remove this concept. There is something called this I is good, that I is bad. No, they are just natural presence. Be aware of those. When you are standing in front of the mirror will show the reflection. The mirror and the reflection are naturally associated with each other. There is nothing called, I want to have a mirror, but it should not show reflection. Is there anything like that? Naturally. Hello, Sai Ram. So don't think about this ego I as a bad I. And the other I is the good I. The moment you create good and bad, you lost the point. You created duality. Come again. So what did Bhagavan Ramana say about this? What he says, Vrittayaha aham vrittimasritaha vrittayo manovidhi aham manaha. When this ego I moves, it creates this thing called the thought, and this bundle of thoughts is called the mind. So if you take the cloth, and this cloth is, Bhagavan says this very beautifully, taking his handkerchief, and then he shows this is a kerchief. But what is this actually? I'm playing what Bhagavan plays in the video, literally. This is a handkerchief. What is this handkerchief made of? This cloth. This is made up of a bunch of threads. No? A bunch of threads made this cloth. And if you take all these threads off, there is no more cloth. What is the thread made of? Cotton. So what is the substance? Cotton. That is drishtanta. It's a metaphor. Similarly, aham vritti means the movement of this aham becomes a thought. Then that moves, a thought has come. And the bundle of thoughts is the mind. Now, you come to the point of thought and you're removing the thought. What remains? There is no more mind. Then the cotton remains. How does this cotton coming up? Ahamayo, ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvataha. Where is this feeling of I coming from? Did I say this in the last class? Khalil, Gibran's question? Somebody asked Khalil Gibran. And he said he went completely silent. And the question was, somebody asked him, who are you? And then he went completely silent. Ahamayo, ahamayang kuto bhavati chinvataha aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. You ask this question, who is this I that I am talking about? And how is this I coming into picture? How is it manifested? Then if you start taking away all the attachments associated with this I, then its world starts disappearing. And now this is not a good feeling for a lot of people. The identification is the process of living. How do you live without attachment, but yet be connected? Now, it doesn't mean that you go and suddenly you have relinquished everything and my children, this is the my children, the my this, the my that, my this. Instead of that, I am that. I am what I am seeing. Then what happens is the diversity disappears, then the unity remains. It's exactly the beautiful metaphor about the gold and the ornaments that we all talk about. Because you identified this ring, and this ring you're seeing as a temporary manifestation. And if you take it to the blacksmith, he will, Bhagwan, again, I'm repeating like a parrot what Bhagwan says, the goldsmith or blacksmith will put it on a weighing machine and say, this is how much this weighs. He doesn't say how beautiful this ring is, whatever it is, etc. He only sees the weight of the gold. So now what happens? What we are seeing, the moment you ask the question, what is this? We jump to the answer. We say, this is a ring. Very few people say it is gold in the form of a ring, with the name called a ring. Now, who called this a ring? Hello. This has come with the name called a ring. Hello. Sairam. Are you understanding the question I'm asking? Somebody decided to call this shape a ring. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
There is really nothing called a ring. Somebody decided to call this a ring with a name and a form. They took this form and gave it a name ring. But simply speaking, this is, what is this? You say this is a ring, but it is incorrect description. This is gold called as a ring. Are you listening to the English words I'm using? This is gold referred to as a ring. Tomorrow everybody disappears and one guy decides to call it something else. Timbuktu, some name he calls. Everybody will call that Timbuktu. This is called a ring in a reference, a relative point, but this is truly not a ring. It is not, it didn't come with a description called a ring. It is called as a ring. This is called as a flower. This is called as a man. This is called as a woman. This is called as this. This is referred to this. It applies to everything, the substance, the substratum referred to as something. And then what you are saying, you are in the relative, but not attached to the relative, but connected to the substratum in the relative. So it is not good or bad. It is it. And therefore, that is, it is called Maya. Yes, sir. Mr. Harish Varna.
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. I'm using ring as a
Yeah.
metaphor, but the context of a ring is just it. Any metaphors you can take to that level, and after that, even that metaphor will fail. Then what is gold? The gold stops at a point of a matter. But is gold really a matter? Where is the gold coming from? Do this analysis. The gold is a matter, that is a matter of particles. Where are those particles coming from? What is the substratum of that particle? And you keep going deeper and deeper, deeper into it. At some point, you will actually come to this point that it is all in my awareness, that these particles are existing in the shape and form of this thing, and that awareness are what is called as chit. And that is my knowledge. Not when I say my, not this body's knowledge, that is the awareness, and that awareness is called chit, and that chit is nothing but the existence, which is the sat. The chit in my awareness is existing as the sat, as this matter, and that chit and sat are one and the same, and that sat and chit in this knowledge, jnana, or what is called as in shining in this awareness, that jnana is the ultimate, and in that there is no differentiation and complete generalization. Oh my God, this is way too much for you guys. I just,
Shekhar, this is Kusuma here. I have a quick question.
yes, ma.
It's not a question. I'm trying to understand um, the concepts that I have. I just want clarification. So, if 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 the entire thing is the Shiva and the Shakti, that means the dormant energy and the kinetic energy. So the dormant energy is the Shiva energy, and the kinetic energy is um, uh, the Devi energy. And so, are we trying to invoke the kinetic energy within us by chanting the Devi Mahatman? Because the Shiva energy is always the dormant energy.
Yeah, this refers to the question that Chandrasekhar was asking, why is Shiva under the feet of Kali? The Sat is the substratum from which the Chit arises, or the Chit is the one into which goes into dormancy, is what is called the Sat. The Sat and Chit, the Shiva Shakti, are indifferentiable. Now calling that I am invoking this, I am invoking that, is again creating duality. You are not actually invoking anything. They are present together. Shiva Shakti is together. It is not that you are in. So what that is not moving, when the movement occurs, that movement is what we are calling as the thought. But the substratum of the thought is actually awareness and existence. Inseparable. Inseparable. They're inseparable. We're trying to separate all the time. We are even separating Shiva and Shakti, calling when it moves, it is Shakti. No, it is the same only. Hello, it is the same only. Don't say that Shakti is different from Shiva. It is just a matter of you're trying to again identify something using your thought process. But literally speaking, it is the same. The ring is the same as the gold. There is no difference whatsoever. The wave is the same as the ocean. You cannot say, by invoking the wave, I am separating it from the ocean. No, you are not separating it. The wave is the ocean. And that is the substratum. Don't try to separate. And don't try to separate. Because Kali is standing on Shiva, it doesn't mean Kali is superior to Shiva. And this is exactly the thing that we need to eliminate. But yet we are so caught up in this Maya that we even want to separate the Shakti from Shiva and say, I am invoking Shakti now, which is now separating from, no. Can you take away the light from the lamp? I'm asking a question. I will have a lamp and I will separate the light from it.
No. No.
Yeah, I have a little fellow who is
But
answering.
one can definitely make it to burn brighter by understanding. I don't know.
No. This is all, you're now trying to justify your separation attitude. Don't, there is nothing called light is separate from the, when there is lamp, there is light. Yeah. Now, even that metaphor fails because your lamp is separate from light and all of that stuff. Yes. So this is a beautiful question in this chapter. Coming back practically, thank you, Sri Vidya, for catching that. I was hoping somebody will ask that question. She actually, when she pierced with the trident, some fellow came out and that's what she killed. Huh? And who is that? So you see, in the context of this attachment to the mind, there is a substratum of thought that is causing all this mind stuff. And that is what she eliminated with Trishula. Again, the three gunas are used to penetrate into the mind. Okay, now I'm hurting the head of some people like Sham, right? Sham, are you still there? Am I hurting you?
Uncle, now I'm truly blissed out, Uncle. Please. Sairam, Uncle.
It's when this is the beauty of the study. This is Adhyayana. The entire essence of all the scriptures are embedded in this story. We are so caught up in the story that we are paying attention so much to the story, we forgot the principle. And that is so. Now you see how you fall trap into the drama, and now you drop the D, you will see the Rama.
Sairam, brother, I have a thought I wanted to validate.
Is it about drama or Rama? Huh. Huh? D-R-A-M-A. Drop the D. What remains?
Only Rama.
Yes, Sai Rama. Ask me.
Yeah, I have this thought I want to validate, brother. If we move away from the I to we, where there is unity in diversity, we automatically eliminate the I.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think it's so. Eventually, the I that is present in everyone is the unifying force. So as long as we keep separating ourselves, saying I, we ignore the we part.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
No, that's a very nice thought. No matter if I ask you, what are you doing? What's the answer you say?
I am doing this. I am
Okay.
doing that.
Okay.
Right?
What if I ask? What
something.
if I ask Chandrasekhar, what are you doing now? What would he say?
He is doing that.
No.
So,
What does he say?
yes.
What do you say, Chandrasekhar? What are you doing now?
I'm listening to you.
I am listening. What do you say, Venkat? I am listening. You don't say Venkat is listening. Oh, you don't say Venkat is listening. And I ask you, what are you doing now? Do you say Venkat is listening? Do you say that? Do you say that? Oh yeah, I am listening. What does somebody else with another name and form say? I am listening. If I and am I represents the substratum, the existence. Am represents the awareness. The I and the am are the Sat and the Chit, and that is common to everyone. Therefore, when Bhagavan gives this amazing statement, in the presence of the students, he was asking, hey, who do you think I am? And then one fellow said, Swami, you are Kalatita Swarupa, you are beyond time, Swami. And then he asked another guy, he said, Swami, you are Sarva Devata Atita Swarupa, you are beyond all gods and goddesses, Swami. Swami, you are Sakshat Bhagavan Vishnu, Swami. Swami, you are that, Swami. Swami, you are this, Swami. Swami just smiled and said, I am I. I am I. And now, who is the first I? Who is the last I? And there are two I's. But yet, what is seeing is only one. Oh my God! You have two eyes, but is each eye seeing differently, or what is it seeing? I am I. I am I. So that is the essence of the whole thing comes to I am I. Then who is this Shumbha? Who is this Nishumbha? And Cecilia probably dropped off. Her head is hurting. And now what? Oh no, she's here. Now go back and think about who is this Raktabija? Who is this Dhumralochana? Who is this Chanda? Who is this Munda? And how are they sub-manifested? And you see, when I was talking about the different levels of the mind, how they operate, the Mahishasura, the Rajasic nature within us, just goes to work without like a bull in a china shop. But Shumbha, Nishumbha is a lot more complex. They are trying to actually even confiscate the awareness, existence, the Sat-Chit Swarupa of what we are referring to as the Devi. And again, don't look at Devi as feminine. Don't look at Shiva as masculine. She is Shiva. He is Shiva. It's the same name referred to both. Shiva Shakti. Just like a word and its meaning cannot be separated from each other. You cannot separate a word and its meaning from it. Just do this exercise. I'm talking very practically. Can you use a word without its meaning?
No.
The word and its meaning are inseparable. Similarly, this Shiva and Shakti Kusuma are inseparable. Don't say that through Devi Matyam I am invoking only Shakti, and through Rudram I am only invoking Shiva. Nothing like that. You can't think of a wave without the ocean. You can't think of a ring without gold. You cannot separate them. So don't separate that Kali is standing on Shiva. Hello. There, she is not standing on him. It is actually the substratum of her presence is Shiva. Now, what our stupid mind is interpreting is that Shiva is inferior to Kali, therefore Kali is putting one foot on him. Hello, Chandrasekhar, are you listening to me what I am saying?
Yeah.
And therefore these Kali Upasakas say that Kali is superior to Shiva. Stupidity. Jesus is superior to somebody. Stupidity. I'm sorry, I have to say that as stupidity. We are brainwashed with stupid thinking, saying that one thing is superior to the other, and differentiating Shakti from Shiva is the most atrocious sin that is ever committed on this planet. Not just separating Shiva from Shakti, separating yourself from the supreme consciousness is the ultimate sin. What is papa or sin defined in scriptures is separating yourself from the source. And therefore, what you say in Sandhya Vandanam is these mantras that actually say, please, I have separated myself from you with my thought, with my word, with my deed. Manasa, vacha, karmana. I separated myself from you, and that separation is the ultimate sin. May that separation be washed away by chanting this mantra, which is that resplendent effulgence, the life-sustaining force, pervading the gross, subtle, and the causal. May that illumine my intellect so that I will not separate myself from everything around me, and I am the oneness.
So, what are the characteristics of a person who sees the world with the I consciousness, apart from Bhagavan?
No, who is asking that question? Why do you want to identify that person? Who is wanting to identify that person? Again, identify. You're taking the I and you're identifying it.
Can I ask a question?
No, hold on one second. Kusuma is asking a question about identification of a person who has such characteristics. Yes, Kusuma?
The I consciousness.
No. Who is wanting to identify?
No, how would one carry himself, or like, you know, how would I
How would I know? How would I identify
how would one, okay, let me put it that way, how would one carry himself with the I consciousness?
How would one carry himself? No, again, what is the one that the only way to carry is to be in oneness? How would one, you asked, right? How would one? How would one carry?
So being egoless, being full of love, and not giving importance to anything
Is just to be, is just by being that. Is just to be that. To know is good. To be is better. To be that is perfect. Why do you want to identify another person with that characteristics? Who is wanting to identify that person? So that you can imitate, so that you can be inspired. I mean, so all these things, this beautiful metaphor that I read in Judaism, that Peter shows up at the gate of the heaven. God was at the gate of the heaven, and then God was about to ask Peter something. Peter said, "Oh God, I know what you exactly want to ask." And then God said, "I haven't even asked. What do you think I was going to ask?" I said, I know. What do you know? Then you said, "How come, Peter, you are not like Moses?" And then God said, No, Peter, you got it wrong. I was about to ask, how come you were never Peter? Not Moses. Be that. To be that is perfect. Don't try to identify that person. Why are you trying to identify that person? Yes, Kusuma. Okay, somebody else. Cecilia has a question. Yes. Yeah, Supriya. Yes.
Sairam.
Sairam.
So one thought is to just let's meditate on unity consciousness. Why do we chant? Let's go into that place of quantum connection and focus on that unity feeling and place, and that
is unity a feeling?
I think that's how we access it.
Okay.
Physical form.
Now,
right? During meditation, isn't there a kind of a experience that one has of unity?
That is another trap.
Okay.
We are taught that meditation is a feeling, is an emotion, is an imagination. is an experience, is this, is that. But meditation truly is the observed and the observer becoming one. When there is no difference between the observed and the observer, what remains is the knowledge. That is true meditation. It's not a feeling. Close your eyes, imagine a god, chant a mantra, then you are meditating. No, you are concentrating. Bhagavan beautifully explained this, very beautifully. Once he said, somebody asked him the question, how do you, Swami, what's the difference between concentration, contemplation, meditation? Swami said, you come and you sit in this Kulwant hall and you have written a letter in which you have written all your problems to present to Swami. And then you are sitting for darshan. And then you are concentrating. Oh, then Swami will come out like this. Will he come in car? Will he come in chair? Will he walk? When he walks, will he walk in front of me? Will he go that way? Will he go this way? What will happen to my letter? How would I present my letter? Supposing if he come and stands in front of me, what am I going to say first? All of this, you're doing beautiful concentration, contemplation about his presence in front of you. And trust me, this happened to this body. When he comes and he stands in front of you, you forgot that you wrote a letter. You forgot that you have all these things to present to him. You are simply overwhelmed with his presence. You look at him and he say, and then he looks at you, Emi Samacharam, Swami. No word, no thought. That is meditation.
So you're saying when you're in vibrational alignment with this consciousness, whatever you want to say, because I think there's a path, right? Isn't there a path to it? If you're if you're fully realized, then you're there, right? But isn't there a path that we are taking to get to that?
Yes, yeah. So that you want to know the blunt truth?
Sure.
There is no path.
Okay.
You are told that there is a path, that there is thing called Christianity, there is this thing called Hinduism, there is this thing called that, there is this thing called this, there is this guru, there is this mantra, there is this and that, and now you have to follow this, then you will realize all of that is only for disciplining the mind and the senses and your body. That's all they will do. They'll discipline your body, which is an important factor in the context of presence. And once you discipline your body and you keep your mind clean, and then we went through this during Rudram study. You know, Rudram very systematically describes this process of purity, unity, divinity. And then how there's actually come together that the wavering, the impurity, etc., associated with the body and the senses and the mind, etc. All these things help you discipline that. Now, what does this Devi Matra, what does this chanting the mantra do? The mantra chanting actually brings you to some kind of understanding of the awareness. And that is the first step, understand. Second step is aware. Third step is be it. Yes, Ma. Okay. Are you all totally confused now? Thanks for the question. Yes. Yes. Hey, Jitendra, how are you, Pa?
Yeah, I'm good. Yes, thank you.
You're listening very keenly. Yes, thank you for.
Yes.
How it's very late for you, no?
It's morning 12:50 now. Yeah, almost 1 o'clock morning. That's okay. I'm enjoying.
Will you won't be able to sleep after this, okay?
I think so. Yes, that's true.
He is joining from Perth. It is morning 1 o'clock, listening to all of this. You have better things to do with life.
Yeah, I was feeling sleepy at around 11:50, but after listening all this thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you. It's a good knowledge, and I feel from my heart it is all truth. Basically, this is the real truth.
Yes, and then the point of all of this is with the Devi Mahatyam or Rudram or all of these things is we have identified ourselves even with these chants saying that they are going to give us from some benefit, from a material, from a worldly, from all of this perspective, and therefore you're told do this, etc., etc. Then you will get, look at that. How old is that little Twishi? How old are you, Tali? Huh?
How old are you? I'm still 7. I'm not 8 yet.
You're still do you want to turn 8 very quickly? Huh?
It's not going to be soon because it's like in 4 months.
Why are you listening to all this stuff? Don't you have time to play and all of that stuff? No, you have to play. Why are you listening to all this stuff? Can you tell these adults why you are practicing Devi Matyam every day and you are doing all of this stuff? Why do you do all this stuff?
Because I love learning.
You like learning. What are you learning from all this?
That I'm learning the shlokas, so.
Okay.
And I like the meaning.
You like the meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Just be happy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, love you so much. Sairam, thank you all for joining, and I know I took a lot of time today. I have to stop the recording now. It's a long class.